Alright, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to do a primer for your self-portrait project here. We're doing self-portrait and we're trying to record a picture of ourselves and try to incorporate a little bit of the pandemic and staying at home and working from home with your parents probably at home or at some capacity. Also, your remote learning, so you haven't seen anybody from school in the same aspect as you would if we were still in the building. So those are some ideas we're going to incorporate in here. I showed you last week my sketch that Mr. G wanted to do here. I wanted to do a sketch here with my two kids fighting in the background. Now this wasn't a specific scene that actually happened, so I kind of orchestrated this and made myself, I'm the artist, so I can be the director and I'll put this together. So I went and I got my kids and I took some pictures with my cell phone, and I took my picture of myself sitting at my computer desk, and I put this kind of together. So I came and I got in my picture here, so I've got a layout kind of laying here. So I've got my picture. I started to sketch out myself here, and then I placed my children in here to kind of lay us out. Okay, so if you're working digitally, you can go ahead and use some of these tips and tricks to push those around and everything. But I still want you to try and draw this out, because drawing techniques will always improve your art no matter what. It's the good techniques that always will be the basis for all of your art. So it's always a good practice. So let's go ahead and go in here real quick. Let me turn off Frankie and Ash real quick and their fighting stances. We'll go in here, and I've done a quick sketch here, and I'm going to do this again start to finish here, just so I can show you. But just to review, we're still going to start off. So if I am on this layer here, and I'm just going to get a drawing tool, I'm just going to get my brush here, and nice blue you can see here. From our drawing faces tutorial, you're still going to start with a round circle. You're going to draw a center line. Now my face is a little off to the center, so I would take this and I would draw this off to the center a little bit. But if you're looking straight at the camera, be in the center. Remember, then we're going to draw a jawline. Usually your male figures are going to have a little bit stronger jawline, a little softer for females. But again, these are all going to change. It's all going to be real specific to face types. Now if I go from the top of the head to the bottom, remember eye line is going to be about right in the middle of the head. Between that eye line and the bottom chin line, right in the middle, you're going to have about where your nose is going to be, and between your nose and your chin is going to be about where your mouth line is going to be. Your eyes will go in on that eye line. Remember how far apart? About the size of one eye in between there. Okay, so if I put a third eye, will go in there. The eyes are going to sit approximately over the corners of the mouth there. So that's about how wide your mouth would be. And your ears, you think about when you put on a pair of glasses, that your glasses, the arms of your glasses sit right at the base of your ears. So your your ears will sit right above your eyes, or right above your eye line there. And then you'll have the curve for your brows here. It'll go in. Okay, so we're going to use that same basis to go ahead and draw a likeness of you. Okay, is what we're going to do. Now everybody's face is not going to fit directly into these proportions. We're going to use this as a simple formula to plug what we're looking at. In this case I got a picture of Mr. G is what we're going to do. So we're going to try that from start to beginning and plug my face into this simple formula to try to make that work. Okay, so let's start with a new layer here. We'll go ahead and turn that off. Go ahead and put this up here. Okay, so I got a new layer here. Now I've got my picture here. So if you can, work in a one-to-one fashion. So if you have a picture that's as large as the picture you want to draw, and you can put it up there, that's great. If not, do the best you can. Okay, you can also draw it out smaller, put a grid over top of it, and transfer that grid onto your new paper to make a better drawing or a bigger drawing. Okay, to increase the size. Okay, well, let's just work here from this. Again, I got my brush tool here, I've got my blue, and again I'm going to start here and I'm going to draw a circle tool here, or a circle to begin with, to take the girth of my big nugget here. Okay, this shape right here, we all have this basic shape. Some people have a rounder head, some people have a more square head, but we all have that basic shape. Now if I go and I take this line, that's center line now, and again my nose is off to the right just a little bit here in this picture, so we're going to draw my center line off to the right just a little bit here. Okay, and then we'll go from the top, since we're going about 1 to 1, and we'll try to draw a rough top and bottom line here. Mr. G has a very long face, so there we go. Okay, now going from that top to the bottom line, we're going to go about the center there, and we're going to draw that eye line. About between that top and middle line, we're going to plug in where our nose line will be. So I'll have a nose approximately right there, and I'm going to draw it just off the center there because my face is turned a little bit. So the tip of my nose is going to go off center as I turn my head left or right, just like you can look in the mirror and see this. Okay, now between the nose and the chin, right between there about, is where you're going to have a mouth line. Okay, so just with those few basic proportions, we're going to plug those in. Like I said, Mr. G has a really long face, so my proportions are a little bit more stretched out there. So if you everybody's face is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so start as a basis there, draw that ear in here, base a little bit wider here on this side. I have short hair and very little hair on top, so I don't have hair that's really defining the shape of my head a whole lot, but a lot of you have a lot of hair that will change, so make sure you're paying attention to that. Okay, now this is an underdrawing, so make sure you were drawing very lightly. Okay, we'll go over this and correct this with a harder pencil and a more direct line later. Right now we're just laying out basic shapes here. Okay, so now that I've got my basic things in here, I'm going to start laying in some of my details. Got a couple eyes here. I'm looking up, so the shape of my eyes are kind of like these half circle look here. Remember, you're going to have those half circles shapes above the eyes. Okay, nose you can bring down. Okay, I don't have very kind of a narrow nose. Comes around. Draw the shape of my mouth a little bit here. Going to come around. Now I'm going to knock in my eyebrows a little bit. My eyebrows are kind of very soft eyebrows there, very faint. Okay, now my forehead here is very prominent, and I've got some wrinkles up here that I can kind of quickly knock in. Now I'm looking, and you kind of look and see what you have right and what you don't have right with just the shapes of my head. I see that I don't have quite enough space over here, so I'm going to start correcting this over, and I need to move this ear out just a little bit more and get over here. Okay, eyes over that corners of the mouth approximately. Okay, now I've got this hand here. Okay, we did our hand tutorial. Move this in just a little bit. And we, in our hand tutorial, hands, break them down into simple shapes just like we do anything. So I'm going to break this into some rectangles here. And there's all kinds of things I can measure off in here. I'm going to draw this simple shape here. Okay, that's kind of that first knuckle is going to be just outside of my chin there. So I'm going to take that and correct that a little bit. And then I'm going to take this big shape here. And then I've got another hand coming up. See, the knuckle is just above where my my mouth is, and that's going to connect right underneath my cheekbone. So my fingers press into my face, and then the other fingers are going to be in behind there. Right about that crease in that knuckle there is where my hand's reappearing underneath. Coming down, remember the thumb is just like this big chicken leg shape here. My thumb is actually tucked up underneath my chin, so we don't see that, but the bottom of that shape is there. So we'll punch that in. Add some a little bit of details, but I'm not going to get too detailed right now because this is just my underdrawing, and I'll go over top of this. So I'm looking to see what I have correct and what I have a little bit off. Okay, remember, even when you are wrong, you're mostly right. I've got 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, and ears, so I must be in the right neighborhood. I just need to figure out. Now remember, make sure you're looking at your picture and not just putting in symbols. So like, don't put in symbols for, you know, a mustache and chin, whiskers, and eyes. Look at the eyes. How are they shaped? Look at your own eyes, okay? I'm going to put in these glasses real soft here real quick. They're not up on my face quite. They're hanging down just a little bit. I've got that just over that eye there. And this one here is going just over this eye over here. Measuring, you kind of go up here. These come in very sharp. I'm going to go right about there for the wing of that glass. Right about there. Going across for there. Alright, then I can kind of knock in the rest of this here, and there I have a quick underdrawing. Okay, now again, I'm going to stop right there and let you go because everything's going to apply on what your layout is. I'm not going to draw the kids or anything. It'll be the same process. I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to plug in those shapes that I've got. A round part of my head and their side proportions, so I'm going to draw the curve of their head next, but the same proportions will apply. Their eyes will be about in the middle of their head, between their eyes and their chin about will be the nose, between the nose and the chin will be about the mouth. Okay, so I can plug all those things in for those when I draw the kids. Okay, alright, so that's a little primer about how I do mine, and don't get discouraged. Do your best on this. Oop. We'll fix that later. But do the best you can. Be creative. Remember, I'm rewarding effort and creativity on this. So do your best foot forward and make sure you're showing lots of effort in this self-portrait. I'll talk to you all soon. Stay creative, and we'll see each other real soon.